Hey everyone, today I'm putting together the Tiny Circuits Tiny Arcade Kit. I already took the items out of the box so I can see what was inside. I chose the clear version, that way I can see all the parts. I always like to look at the little gadgets and things and how they work. The other version you can get is in black, so if you want it all to be encased, you can do that too. It does come with a sticker pack. I don't want to use the stickers, but again, it's totally up to you if you'd like to use them. Overall, it says it's supposed to take about 10 minutes, so it's a pretty easy project. Just looking at the parts, there's certain things plug into the circuit board here, the screen plugs into that. I think the thing that will take the most time is probably putting all the plastic parts together on one side, putting these inside of it, and then putting on the other side. So they recommend using some Scotch tape just to hold the pieces together so they don't come apart while you're assembling it. So we'll see how that goes. So first we want to put the electronics together. So you have the circuit board, and here is the speaker. If you can see, I'm not sure if you can see in the camera too well, there are two slots. There's one for the speaker, one for the battery. Actually, let me turn it around so you guys can see it a little bit better. So one for the speaker, one for the battery. So you want to make sure you plug it in the correct way. So you're going to stick this part in the little hole for the speaker. There we go. And then you have the battery, which is going to go in the battery slot. Pretty simple enough. Last part is the screen. So the screen are going to go right in these pegs. This is the joystick and then the two buttons. So you want to make sure the screen is facing that direction. There we go. Pretty easy. And that's the assembly just for all the electronics. Inside the case, the speaker is going to go on the bottom. I'll show you the hole in a little bit where the sound will come out. And the battery, you have a choice either to place it on the back with a little double-sided tape, or if you want to have the back nice and clean, you can stick this right above the speaker. So that's what I plan on doing. To assemble the body, you're going to take one of the sides, and there's a little hole here. You're going to put the screw through the hole, and you're going to thread this onto it. Just hand tightening. After that, we're going to put the electronics inside. So as you can see here on the screen, it has two tabs. Those correspond with these skinnier tabs right over here, as well as these two tabs on the controller board will go into the skinnier tabs right above that piece. So we're going to try to put those in there. They say you might need to pull this out a little bit to make sure it fits properly. Let's see, there we go. Good. So now that's in. After that, you're going to take this piece. You can identify it because it has three little pegs on each side. And if you can kind of see, one side has a very small edge, or like very little edge here, and then this one has much more space. That is what's going to go on top, just like so. So I'm going to put a little piece of tape on here and move on to the next part. Now we're going to take the top piece. This one has two pegs on it. And again, if you notice, there's one that has a shorter end on it and one that has a longer end. The longer end is going to face the back. That way, if you can kind of see here, the two plastic parts will meet. So we're going to tape those together, as well as this piece. This one, you see that the pegs are both centered, whereas this one, which looks very similar, the pegs are closer to one particular side, so we're not going to use that just yet. This one is going to go into the front, so we're going to tape all of those pieces together, and we'll move on to the next part. Now that we have those pieces taped, we're going to apply this piece, which goes over the joystick and buttons, and the piece that goes over the screen. So we're going to have to pull this out a little bit. I'm actually going to take it completely out for a quick second and put that on. There we go. And now we have to stick this back together. See if we can get them to line up. Okay, we got the back. Let's get the front. Good, and the top area. There we go. Alright, so now that's in. Now we have to apply the screen piece. So that's going to go right in front of the screen. Again, there is a right and wrong way to put this particular piece on. So as you see, the screen area that'll go through, it's shorter on the top, bigger on the bottom, so it needs to go in this way to make it fit. So I'm going to put that in, and then I'm going to tape it up to keep everything solid. Now that those pieces are attached, I'm going to try to hold this in place. We're going to install the bottom part, so it has kind of a vent. This is where the sound's going to be coming out. This is universal. There's no right or wrong way to put this in. So we're going to tape that piece here. See if it'll stay for a quick second. And then you're going to take this piece. So there's, again, a piece that looks very similar to it. This one has 1 tab. This one has 2. So this piece is going to go in the front, and this little notch is for the speaker. So that's going to go on the bottom, so it's going to face this direction. So we're going to tape those together and then put the back on and install the speaker. So again, as I mentioned, this could have been put on the top with a little bit of the double-sided tape. I wanted this to be clear, so this is going to be bent right underneath that peg, and the speaker is going to go underneath it with this part facing down. So I'm going to carefully slide that in. There we go. I'm going to make sure that the wires are not too bent or crimped anywhere. This round part of the speaker is going to fit in the little notches on all the sides. So this is the back piece. Again, the opening is going to go on the bottom. So that one's going to face this way. And we're going to tape this closed once everything is shifted around a little bit. And then we have one more final piece before we put on the other side. That piece, if this will stay, as you can see here, it has 1 tab and it's located closer to one side than the other. So it's going to face this way. So the tab is going to be closer to the top, and that's going to go right here in front of where the buttons go. I know it's kind of hard to see because my hand's in the way, but there's one more slot right here that's going to go. So I'm going to tape these pieces together, and then it's a matter of finally putting on the other side and screwing it all together. Now comes the final and probably hardest part, getting this piece to fit over all the pegs. So with the tape, it'll give you a little bit of assistance so none of the parts should fall out if you're careful enough. I'm going to do this off camera because it might take a little bit of time to do, but I'll show you the finished product when it's done. And then once it's all together, you just take this little plastic screw and screw it into the little peg inside. Here is the finished product. It looks really nice. I like how it's nice and compact. I'm very obsessed about small things. So when I saw this at Maker Faire, I said I needed to have it. Now I bought a micro SD card that they provide. They can buy from them separately that has more games on it. This already has, I believe, 3 games already installed on the controller board, but you can get a micro SD card from them that has even more games. I'm not much of a programmer, so I'm willing to learn, But until I learned how to make my own games, I wanted to buy theirs to see what their games were like. So if you look here on the back, this little port right here is where you charge it. Right above it is where the SD card goes, so we're going to slide that in. Over on the other side is the switch to turn it on and off, and this little wheel is to control the volume. So I'll see if I can get this on screen for you. So there's this kind of demo, I guess it's like a shooter demo, driver demo, Flappy Birds, Tiny Asteroids, Tiny Invaders, Tiny Run, Tiny Shooter, Tiny Tris, and a video player. So let's try Tiny Shooter. I'll turn the volume up. There we go. So if you have bad eyesight, this is definitely not something you're gonna like to play with. But for a fun nostalgia type thing, and if you like things that are small like me, you'll probably like playing with this. Fun little toy to tinker with. So I'm very happy with playing with this. Definitely going to keep this on my desk in case I'm a little bored and want to play with something. So if you like doing these kinds of things, little tiny projects, I definitely recommend it. I'll put a link below to their website so you know where to purchase the Tiny Arcade. Thanks for watching.